New? Done? Somewhere in the middle? Stay tuned for the Real Housewives of Orange County coming up next.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everybody? Hello and greetings to the Real Housewives of Orange County After Show, Season 14, Episode 17, Florida Fun and Fury. I am your solo host tonight, Regina Coles. You got that right. Those three lovely ladies who sit with me every week are not here tonight with me due to various reasons, but it's all good. You'll see their lovely faces next week. What about that? Make sure you stay tuned because I've got a lot of juicy news to share with you, and also a special segment, Shadiest Moments and then some. So let's get right into this episode, Florida Fun and Fury. So I want to start with my initial thoughts, and I'm going to start with the good stuff because I thought there were a lot of positive moments with this episode tonight, which I really, really like. Starting, of course, with the big news. He put a ring on it. That's right. Vicki's fiance finally put that ring on it, and was it a stunner? It was a beautiful diamond ring. And I really like how Miss Vicki sprung it on her girls, inviting them all over for lunch. And, of course, she had her kids there, her son and her daughter, and her fiance. And she started by sitting outside on her patio saying that she was hot. And all of a sudden, she's flashing her fingers, and Gina notices the big reveal, the beautiful diamond ring. So I have to say I was just really happy for Vicki. I have been a Vicki fan since day one on the show. And it was really good to see her fellow housewives happy for her as well. And Shannon was really very heartfelt with her congratulations, and even going on further to really let us know that she believes in love and that one day she'll get remarried. So that was all good, and I was just so happy to see some good news for Vicki finally. And as a matter of fact, later on in the news, I have some big news about Vicki, so you don't want to miss out on that. So moving on from Vicki, of course, the other big news, man, was there some big news in this episode, was Shannon. Whew. Man, we can all breathe a sigh of relief for all of us Shannon fans that she finally got her big payday with her divorce becoming final, and her husband, ex-husband, I should say, stepping up to the plate. And David, was generous in giving Shannon what she so richly deserved after nearly 20 years of marriage. And of course, we know that, well, in total, Shannon gets $10,000 a month from David, and that includes her spousal support and child support. So that ain't too bad. Plus, she got a lump sum of $1.4 million in settlement, property division, and what have you. So I'm really happy for Shannon, and we all know she's got a great business. So that was really some great news to share for sure. Now, the other great news, of course, was the trip to Miami, and those ladies, we're going to get into that later. But before we go any further, right now, I just want to thank you all for being continued supporters here at AfterBuzz TV. We couldn't do it without your support, and we really appreciate you going on to iTunes and giving us a 5-star rating, and also going on to YouTube and subscribing to our YouTube pages and giving us the thumbs up. And guys, we all do, but I really do read your comments, and I appreciate all of the great things that you guys guys have to say and your insight. And for those of you who have been following us throughout the season, you know who you are, ladies. I don't have to call you out, but give me shelter. I hope you're with us tonight. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on the live chat. And I've got Ryan. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello. How are we doing? Look, we got a ton of people in the chat right now.
Oh, wonderful. Should we jump to it real quick?
Yeah, let me just shout a few people out real quick. We got Todd Beaton in the chat saying, I'm happy for Vicki. Shannon is the best housewife. We got Justin Joyle in the chat. Tiffany Johnson, Unmuzzled, shouting you out, Regina, saying, hey, look, it's Regina, yay.
Oh.
And lastly, we got, I'm looking for Shady Booty. I'm not seeing Shady Booty. We got Kim Can in the chat. So shout out to all y'all. Please keep sharing your thoughts, and we'll go to you throughout the episode.
So no Shady Booty or no give me shelter tonight, eh?
Not yet.
Well, that's all good. So anyway, moving along, let's talk about this big...
Give me shelter's here. Sorry. Oh, they were just like, I am here. Sorry.
Okay, now give me shelter. Great that you're joining us. So anyways, I know she's going to have, or he is going to have lots to say, and it's all good. So anyway, let's move on to the not so good news, what I thought was not so good news, and that's this continual fight with Kelly being in the center of it. Man, these ladies amped it up tonight, being some really, straight out mean girls. And of course, during the episode, when it first opened, we see Bronwyn sitting and having lunch with Kelly, and they're talking about all this crap about her and Tamra and their big blow up. And to tell you the truth, they go back and forth so many times. Not only do they lose track of what they're fighting over, but heck, I lose track about what they're fighting over. And I just think it just makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, they're like throwing shade left and right, threatening to sue each other and calling each other dirty names. And I just think it makes no sense at all. And so what does anybody in the live chat have to say about that?
We got a ton of people in the live chat that are they're sharing all their thoughts. People are talking about Kelly. They're saying, I like Kelly, but she goes there, quote unquote, too fast. Thanks for the shout out. A lot of people are saying they also think Kelly kind of scares them. It's a bit like a goose honking. And let's list all the things that follow the but for what Kelly is.
Well, according to Kelly, her mom, of course, threatened that if Tamra doesn't shut her mouth up about Kelly throwing the mom down the stairs and all this other crap, that Kelly's going to be met with a lawsuit for defamation of character. And, of course, they're all involved. Well, not all of them, but Kelly and Tamra, I believe, are involved with this lawsuit with Jim Bellino, who was married to Alexis. And so, they're really worried about that. But also we see where Kelly is trying to reach out to him, like to kind of cut her own side deal. So according to her and talking with Bronwyn, Tamra and the rest of the girls, Vicki, we know for a fact she has no love for, but they aren't her friends. So Bronwyn trying to be the peacemaker, I don't know. I don't think Bronwyn has enough history with these ladies to try to be the peacemaker. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm looking at what they're saying. Let's just give them a few minutes to respond.
Oh, okay. We are typing. We are going full speed ahead. Okay, but anyway, I just think, and I agree with everybody else, but Tamra really had some harsh things to say about Kelly. She said that every person that Kelly comes in contact with, she tries to destroy, that she's impulsive, and that she doesn't think. And this one really killed me when she said she's not as smart as the last person she talked to. Now, that wasn't one of my shady moments, but I thought, wow, that's pretty much of an insult. But I do have to agree that Kelly is so hot-headed, and she's got such a fuse, and it's just going off all the time. And after a point in time, it just wears you down, and you get tired of it, and you're like, why are they even around each other to begin with if they have so much hatred for one another and they can't get along? So I don't know. It's just getting pretty tiresome to me. But anyways, I'm going to move along, and I want to talk about the trip to Miami, which I thought was refreshing for those ladies. I felt like they really needed to get out of town, and especially Shannon, I was happy to hear her say that, as we know, last episode, she was like down on going to Key West. She was going to join the ladies in Miami and not continue on. But once her divorce was settled and she got what she thought was fair, she felt really good about herself. And I loved that. And she said, hey, I'm going to live my life and I'm going to have fun and I'm going to Miami, Florida. Key West is next, of course. And I'm just going to have a good old Shannon time. And I said, you go, girl. You go. I really enjoyed hearing her say that. So, as we move on, of course, Miami, Sean, Brownwood's husband, I was wondering at first, why is he here? There are no other husbands but him. But I see he was just there to maybe have a few days. They love Miami, he and Brownwood. They lived there for many years, and that's their favorite city. They said there's no place like Miami when it comes to partying in South Beach. And I have to say, if you haven't been to South Beach, it is a trip you definitely want to make because they party till the sun comes up and then some. But anyways, I thought they gave the ladies a really classy greeting, starting at the airport where they had the white and red Maseratis to pick them up with the tops down. But that wasn't too cool because, of course, we know it was windy and everybody was trying to hold on to their hats or their weaves. But nonetheless, it was a classy welcome to Miami, and the hotel was like really classy. Vicki was very surprised by the warm welcome she got from Brownwood and Sean. As we know, Vicki and Brownwood, they didn't get off on a very good foot when they first met. Vicki called Brownwood boring, but she said she wanted to restart the relationship, and so I think it was a great start. And, of course, going to her room and finding a nice congratulatory note and some champagne. Too bad she was popping it by herself, but it's all good. You know, it's the thought that counts. So how are we doing on the live chat, Ryan?
In the live chat, we got a bunch of people commenting about Bronwyn. We got Tiffany Johnson saying he's so nice about being a sounding board to Bronwyn. Mm-hmm. Nancy Buckingham saying Sean is a good sport. Also, Shannon looks fabulous. Give Me Shelter chiming in saying Shannon and Tamra should have talked about Jim to the public if they don't have a relationship with him. Mm-hmm. When you gossip, you take the risk of telling a lie. I don't like Jim B, but I hope he wins.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Oh, she's saying shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. Sorry. Give Me Shelter corrected themselves.
Uh-huh.
But and then Justin Joyle coming in saying, I think all the Botox they have got moved to their foreheads during their car ride.
Really? Oh, that's funny. And, speaking about that car ride, yeah, I mean, they were holding on to their hats and those weaves for dear life. Because as women, we definitely don't want to have that fly off, But the other thing about that trip was I like the fact that they went to a strip club, and strip clubs, they're fun. I've been to a strip club, and a bunch of me and my friends, we went to a strip club, Brian, with our husbands.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And this was in New Orleans where we went.
Tell me more.
Well, I can't say it was that scandalous. I'll say this much, that when we went in the club, the wives insisted that we all wanted to sit up on stage, close to the stage, because this was our first time going.
Wow.
And so, yeah. So, I mean, you know what? We appreciated those girls. Look, they work hard for their money. Most of them anyways. No, I'm not going to throw any shade. A lot of those girls are going to college and paying their way through school, or they're single mothers, which, so, I mean, I'm not going to hate on them. That's what they do to make a living, and I thought some of them were darn good at it, but it was so funny. With our husbands being there, they were like, trying to act like they weren't watching.
Right.
trying to watch the door instead of look at the stage because they didn't want the wives to get any slight hint that they were really into, what was going on stage. But it was fun. So, hey, I thought that was a fun thing for them to do, and they seemed to enjoy it. And I was really happy that Tamra did not get too wild in this episode, and her and Bronwyn, but Lord knows what's going to happen next. But anyways, I'd like to get to news now.
Here comes the news.
Yeah.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, the million-dollar question is, will she or won't she? The question is whether Vicki Gunvalson will return for season 16 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. According to reports, she and Andy Cohen, the executive producer and creator of the show, got into a tit-for-tat during a recent production meeting where Vicki was invited and then she was uninvited. And Vicki was highly upset by this, and she said she felt totally humiliated. And given the fact that she has helped make this a multi-million-dollar franchise for over nearly 15 years, Vicki says she will not return to The Real Housewives of Orange County unless she is put back on full-time housewife status. So, in the live chat, tell me what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. I agree with Vicki. I would not go back part-time for anything, for any reason. So, basically, that's the news. Tell me what you think on the live chat.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think they're still typing away. They're saying that this is pretty funny. Justin Joyle saying, they're all still beautiful, though. OC is always my favorite. Those ladies are practically alien to me, but I have to say this cast is the creepiest of all the franchises.
Really?
Yeah, that's an interesting take from Unmuzzled.
From all of the franchises?
That's what they're saying.
Well, this is the number one show that started The Real Housewives.
Right.
This is the first franchise. So these ladies definitely have a lot of history, and they set the tone for, I don't even know how many franchises there are now. It's quite a bit. If anybody out there in the live chat knows, please let me know. I'd like to know. I'm going to look that up for next week. But anyways, I'd like to maybe get into...
Do a shadiest moment?
Oh, it was a lot of shady moments, Ryan. Oh, yes. Well, one shady moment was when the ladies first got to Miami, and Tamra was standing outside on the balcony, and I forget who was standing next to her, but she said, "Be careful and don't be caught out here with Kelly, because you never know. You might go over the balcony." And I thought at first, wow, that's really cold and harsh and dangerous. But then I thought about how hot-headed Kelly is, and, her fuse, once it gets lit, it's like 4th of July and then some. So I said, she might have a point. She might want to, heed that warning. The other thing that I didn't like was Kelly, I thought, was totally out of line, pulling on Shannon's weave and telling her that it looked like shit and that women over 50 shouldn't wear extensions. I like her nerve. I don't agree with that at all. Whatever floats your boat is what I say. And if a woman over 50 wants to wear extensions and she looks good in them, now I'm not saying wear them down to your feet like Cousin It from the Addams Family, but definitely if you look good in them, and whether you do or not, it's on you. It's your business, whatever makes you feel good about yourself. But the shadiest comment, of course, was at the end of the episode when Tamra, let me see, I wrote this down. I don't want to get it wrong, but she said to Kelly, "Go suck more dick for money. It's what you do best, Kelly." Wow. That left me speechless.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was really cold. So I can only imagine what's coming up next in the next episode. So I am ready to make my predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, one thing is for sure, this trip is moving on to Key West, and as we saw in the previews, they are getting stinking drunk to the point where somebody's falling on their you-know-what. But also, we know that Kelly is definitely not one to back down, so Tamra, girl, that workout is going to come in handy because I believe that Kelly is coming for you, so I hope you pump some iron while you're in Miami and build those biceps up even bigger because she is definitely coming for you. And I think we saw Vicki is off the chain. So between Vicki and Tamra with Kelly, I think the next episode, because we're going to be getting close to a season wrap, we only have a few more episodes to go, it is going to be amped up off the hook. And before we go, Ryan, I think we have time for one or two more live chat.
Yeah, just going to shout a few more people out in the live chat.
Sure.
Again, thank you all so much for listening each and every week. We got Kim Cans going, history is great, but they need to move forward.
You're right.
We got Todd Beaton. Once again, thank you, Todd, every week. They don't talk about next season until the reunion end. Justin Joyle, thank you so much for listening every week. Tiffany Johnson. And Nancy Buckingham going, Brianna looked so good, so happy she is healthier.
Yes, she is. And North Carolina seems to be agreeing with her. According to her and her husband, they definitely don't want to move back to California. She mentioned that the air was great for her. She got on that keto diet and she lost 60 pounds. And she's been married for 8 years. Time flies, but she seems to be doing magnificent, and she is so happy for her mom, and I'm sure a lot of us are happy. But I want to say to Kim, I'm glad she made that comment about the history, because you're right, these ladies dwell in the past way too much. I mean, they bring up so much past garbage. Just move on. Let it go. The past is the past. Live in the present and plan for the future. Try to mend fences and go into the new year, in the holiday season especially, with peace and love. And with that, I'm going to say good night to you all and tell you that you can find me on @ReginaColes on Instagram and also @ReginaRico on Twitter. And I just want to tell you about a new show that I'm hosting, and it's called Blind Date. So I'm hosting the Blind Date After Show, and guys, it is juicy. If any of you have ever been on a blind date, if you go on social media, or of course you do on the dating apps is what I meant to say, or anything like that, tune in on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. and we can talk about all the juicy do's and don'ts about the dating game. With that being said, I wish you a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you next Tuesday at 7 for the Real Housewives of Orange County. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me. Bye-bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.